We are putting together the Ashes England team of your time and then the Ashes Australian team of your time. We're putting the Aussies aside for a second. So you have both got to tell me your top four. So we're going to go top four, obviously the middle order, and then the bowlers over the next 3 weeks. But here we go. You don't know who you've selected either, you two.
No, we don't.
No. I love this because then I want arguments. Yes. All right. So, Haydos, you're getting underway.
I want to pick the first argument, JB, and that's with you because you had pardon me. I'm just coughing on JB's bones here.
You are?
Yeah, well, his footnote was that we couldn't pick Alastair Cook, correct, Blue?
Well, yeah, apparently.
JB?
Aesthetics.
What's your problem?
Aesthetics matter.
Right.
And I'm the only one of you three that care about aesthetics, and thank God I do. Otherwise, I'd end up looking like you two. But it's not about me. It's about the two of you and your top four. So let's stop procrastinating, Dos, and get going.
Okay, well, Alastair Cook, just to put that straight in your court, 12,472 reasons why. And, you know, looking at Australia as well, he's played 35 test matches against Australia, 64 innings, over 2,000 runs, averaging 40. So all my players have to average 40 or very close to 40. That's a given, right? But he's an impactful player. The first time I saw Alastair Cook, we were playing at Chelmsford and Essex, and he got 200 against us in 2005 as a youngster. You know, and then 5 years later, he's getting test match 200s against Australia as well in an Ashes series. So, you know, for me, left-hander, tall, I don't think he's not elegant. I think he's a very fine player. Longevity matters in selecting the best 11, and he's definitely one for me.
All right, so Bluey, it's got to be how they've played against Australia. So in this argument, I don't give a stuff what they've done in South Africa or India, not that that isn't important. But it's the big games and how they play in them. So are you in agreement with Alastair Cook?
Well, as soon as you said Cook couldn't be in either of our sides, he was straight in for me. He was number one.
See, I've worked for Alastair Cook. I've got him in both of your teams.
So, yes, we are picking our best ever Ashes team from 93 onwards. So, of course, we've had to look into their record in Australia as well. So, as Haydos said, Cook, 35 Ashes test matches, nearly 2,500 runs at 40.2. But more importantly, JB, he's played 20 of those test matches in Australia, over 1,500 runs at an average of 49 with 500s in Australia. So, he's got to be in the side.
Listen, this isn't about you two arguing with me. I'm not involved in this. I want you arguing with yourselves. All right, Blue.
No, well, we've got no argument.
Who's the second opener, Blue?
I've gone with Michael Vaughan. He's played 10 test matches against Australia, 5 at home, 5 in Australia, nearly 1,000 runs at 48. But he's also, in Australia, done extremely well at an average of 63 in Australia with 300s as well. So nowhere near as many test matches of someone like an Andrew Strauss, but I think just the impact that he had, whether he's playing in England or in Australia, Michael Vaughan joins my best Ashes side for England, along with Alastair Cook. So they're my openers.
Blue, can you reveal a captain at this stage, or were you with? Okay, you were saying okay, no worries. Well, you batted him out of position there because I mean, he probably played the majority of his cricket as an opener, right?
Yep.
But he did play largely when I played him anyway. He batted 3. He came in at number 3 in 2005. That's where he batted. He had a really impactful series in 2005. As a captain. Look, the thing about the Poms is that they've always struggled with their captain. You know, and Michael Vaughan seemed to get the best out of his players. So I'm going to pick him as my captain. I'm not going to tell you where he is, though, at the moment, because my other opener is Strauss. Again, a left-hander at the top. But Strauss, for me, 100 test matches, 20 against Australia. He averaged just a tick under 40, 39, almost 40.
So you've already broken your own rule. You
I
said
told
you're
you.
not picking anyone who doesn't average over 40.
I told you
Yes.
that I told you that I was going to have someone there that was just on 40, which is Strauss.
Oh,
Hey,
He's just added that in.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you the other alternatives, right? Which Graham Gooch, he fit outside because it was after 93. But you had Trescothick that averaged 33, and you had on the other list there you had Athers, who was also just outside that. But Gooch, Atherton, and Trescothick, they averaged 30, just over 30. So I'm looking in position as someone that's going to be in that 40 zone, that's got leadership skills, that's a handy slipper as well. To me, he's a bit of a no-brainer. But if I can move straight into my next point, and that's Vaughan's my number 3.
Right.
So they're my top 3. That's the benchmark of the English setup, in my view.
Well, JB, where do you think Michael Vaughan did most of his damage as a Ashes player?
Oh, I would have had him opening.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Which
that
will lead
series
into
before we finish on Vaughanie, that series he played out here, I can't remember the years. He tore that series to shreds. And I've never seen, Bluey, a bloke play Glenn McGrath the way he did for that Ashes series in Australia, pulling him off a length. Like, I just remember watching him thinking, we're never getting this bloke out. And you don't say that very often about an overseas batter.
And fluent and really took it to the Australians. So I'm well in front of Haydos at this stage with my selection. So I've gone with Cook and Vaughan as my two openers. My number 3 is Jonathan Trott.
Ooh.
Now, Jonathan Trott played...
This is a man who retired mid-series.
Yes, but he did some damage before that. So listen to this. He played 12 Ashes test matches against Australia, scoring just under 1,000 runs at an average of 48, 3 Ashes hundreds. But as we've said all along, in Australia, he averaged 66. 66 in Australia. So my number 3 is Jonathan Trott.
Well, you had to get a South African in there somewhere. We couldn't have a team without South Africa represented for England. Who are you putting in at 4 then, Dos?
Well, talking of South Africa, I've got Kevin Pietersen.
No.
Which, look, I think with Kevin, I go back to his 2005 Ashes series. He got 470-odd runs in that series at a time when Australia cricket was at its absolute best. Granted that we didn't have McGrath after the first test match, but someone in that lineup needed to have an X factor against the king, Shane Warne. And that team, and in particular led by Kevin Pietersen, he just had that uncanny knack of being able to fight fire with fire, something that Warnie, and all of his magic needed to have that kind of stability element in an opposition side, because you think back to the way Warnie dominated Ashes series. In fact, he dominated that 2005 series as well with bat and ball. But Kevin was that nullifying factor to the English setup that demystified Shane in many ways. They had a great relationship on and off the field, wonderful competitors. But that tall reach, that remember that skunk haircut he had, that filthy. He looked like he walked under a ladder and the painter had just spilt a can of blue paint. Just horrible looking thing it was, but what a great player. What an impactful player. Interestingly, when I look at the strike rates of these guys, again, in that series, he had a strike rate, something that we don't talk about in Test cricket a lot. He had a strike rate of 71 against that great Australian cricket team. So, yeah, Kevin Pietersen's my number 4.
All right. Yeah, Cook, Strauss, Vaughan, Pietersen for the DOS. Bluey, you've got one to add.
Yes, just to add with Kevin Pietersen, who's not my number 4, but I played with KP in county cricket, so it was his very first year playing for Nottinghamshire. I was the overseas player, and we went head to head. It was great fun. He scored some runs. I got a few runs as well, but I knew straight away this kid was special and ended up being one of the great players for England. But he's not my number 4.
Ooh.
My number 4 is probably, in my experience playing against England, the best batter that I came up against, and that is Graham Thorpe, the left-hander,
Wow.
who was a very, very
Wonderful
good player. 16 Ashes test matches, 1,235 runs at 46, 300s, and in Australia, averaged 48 as well. So he was a very, very good player. So he slots in at number 4 for me. And just while we're on Thorpe, we probably, everyone in cricket knows that we lost Thorpe not that long ago. So obviously condolences go out to all his mates and all his teammates and family and that. But he was a fantastic player. So he slots in at number 4. Now, Kevin Pietersen is my number 5.
Right.
So he was at number 4 for the Big Doss, but KP can just slide down a notch for me. I think he's the perfect number 5 in Test match cricket. Of course, 27 Test matches, over 2,000 runs, average of 45, both in England and Australia. So that rounds out my top 5. Now, sorry, that's
you hold, because we're going to move it across once you've finished on KP. We don't need your number 6 yet. That's number 5, and I don't think it's impossible to argue with KP being in either of these teams. So who have you slotted in at number 5?
Well, yes, I'm not going to go through my whole side, but KP was my 4. It's very hard to leave out the best cricketer, maybe the Fab 4, if you like. And that is Joe Root, who bats obviously the majority of his time at 4.
Right.
But if you look at his numbers at 5, he doesn't average 50. He averages 60.
How many times has he batted 5?
He's batted 5. Good question. 35 innings.
35 innings.
35 innings. He's got 600s at 5.
Righto.
11 50s, averaging 67 at a strike rate of 61. So he averages 51, I think it is, with a strike rate of 60 at 4. And you think of the Kohlis, you think of the Kane Williamsons, you think of the Smiths, right? So 13,000 test runs will tell me again, and I'm rating longevity, I'm rating solidarity. I mean, he is a banker. The only criticism that you can probably say, especially against Australia and in Australia, is his conversion rate. Like, you pencil him in for 3 or 4 half centuries. He's yet to go on and make a big score here. We know that record where he's just smashed players all over the world and in every destination, he's a very fine player of spin. He's got the innovation as well, if required, to fit into the whole English way of batting. And he's got a beautiful set of hands. He's just the most complete package in the England side. It's a Blue. I can't believe you haven't got Joe Root in your team, in all seriousness.
Mate, I had that up. That's a donut or a 0 or a blob, if you want. That's how many hundreds he's made in Australia from 14 tests.
Yeah.
0.
Yep.
0.
But he averages 40. He averages 40, bud. Highest score of 180. And I'll talk to you at the end of this summer. I'll walk nude around the MCG if he doesn't get 100 this summer.
We're picking it now, JB. We're not picking it in 6 months' time.
So you're leaving out a bloke that's got 13,500 runs in Test cricket.
I'm leaving out a guy. It's Ashes sides we're picking, and he averages 40 in Ashes Test matches.
Yeah,
but there's other players with better records, so that's why he's out of my side.
Well, not for the first time, the big Queenslander's just going his own way.
Well, hang on. I'll go back. Who's got a better record? Pietersen, Thorpe, and Trott. That's who.
Pietersen hasn't got 13,000 runs.
Yeah, but he averages 45 in Ashes Test matches.
Jonathan Trott, it was a tough break. Jonathan Trott was a tough break because, I had Vaughan, but JT, he was a more successful statistical player. But I think from a character point of view, Vaughnie, and I hope we get, I mean character is in, someone that sort of led a generation, 2005. He's my captain, Vaughnie.
Well,
From a
Vaughan is in
character
my
point of
team
view,
as well,
is
and I'm not
just-
naming my captain yet.
All right.
No,
So
well,
number
you
6,
better
I
hurry,
like
mate,
this.
because surely you're not going to have a bowler.
I like this. This is the sort of arguing that I was hoping would happen. This is good. All right. Number 6, Big Dos.
Well, yes. Now, I've gone with the player that if he was an Australian, you'd call him Bradburn-esque. If he was a Pom, you'd say that he was Botham-esque. My number 6, he's not captain, is Ben Stokes.
Right.
Ben Stokes, if you want to have, for me, he just plays from a different song sheet. Simple as that. You think back to his 135, right? That unbelievable test match, the third in Leeds, day 4, and it was just a winning from an impossible scenario. Australia set 359. They got within 2 runs with Leach, who's absolutely just holding up one end. You got Lino, he tried to play that reverse sweep. Nathan Lyon couldn't regather the ball, just basically played with the sporting gods and then dropped the ball. And then the very next ball, didn't complete the run out. Very next ball, he tries a regulation sweep. Australia did not have the review, remember, at that point. Needed 2 runs to win. And was absolutely plumb. Joel Wilson shocked me.
Oh, Joel.
Didn't give it out. It's absolutely plumb.
Get your finger up, Joel.
And then he just leans back and smacks one through extra cover. And maybe that's one of the greatest test matches of all time. It's certainly got to be surely in the top 10 of all time from English cricket point of view. And not to mention his handy contributions as an all-rounder with the ball. He can genuinely stand up as a third or fourth seamer. And he's a bloody winner. Like I was hearing Cambo talk about him, the Durham coach, and his secret formula, shocked me, is hard work. He just does everything so professional. And for a dirty bloody Kiwi, he is, I think, one of the great generational players as well. Certainly will put bums on seats. My side's going to entertain Blue. It's gonna go down swinging, and I want to go, mate. I'd pay a lot of money to see Ben Stokes on most occasions. I hope he has a great summer. I hope he doesn't have that good a summer, but I hope he has a great summer and he entertains us.
That beautiful shot, Bluey. They use the camera that Sky TV use, the side-on camera that's on the rails. That shot of him hitting Pat Cummins for 4 and the hill, the stand behind him just erupting is one of the great shots of modern Test cricket, I reckon. Just nuts.
I mean, he just kept slapping Hazelwood for fun. It's such courage.
That game, Haydos, if Nathan Lyon watches or listens to this podcast, he still hasn't gotten over that run out.
No.
That anyway, so listen, for me, my number 6, guys, it was a toss up, and there's been a couple of unbelievable all-rounders that England have had over my time. So it came down to Ben Stokes or it came down to Freddie Flintoff.
Ooh.
Right.
Now, here we go.
Now, dear, oh dear.
I like this.
I like this too.
So Benny Stokes doesn't make my side. Big Freddie Flintoff. He is in. For entertainment, Dos, you got KP at 5, then you got Freddie Flintoff coming in at number 6, who absolutely pretty much single-handedly won that 2005 Ashes series, one of the great series of all time. His bowling Haydos can tell how menacing that bowling was. Reverse swing at about 145. So Freddie Flintoff for me, but Ben Stokes is definitely up there. But the bowling got me over the line with those two. So an apology to Ben Stokes, who also annoys me a little bit the way he handles the media. He talks his side up far too much. So Freddie Flintoff is my number 6.
What a cricketer,
Okay.
Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah, I'm
Jesus.
not going to argue, JB, either. I mean, Freddie he's a generational player.
Nuts. And
no
a
doubt.
lot of those very good and very annoying England all-rounders, and I put our great mate, all three of our great mates, the Lord, Beefy, at the top of the tree, just saved his best for us.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they play
correct.
against Australia, they just turn it on. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Freddie Flintoff, that ridiculous with the bat in that series, Doss. The amount of times in 05, I thought to myself, we've got him here. And then he just strode out, and half an hour later, the game's gone.
Oh, look, I don't want to be selfish on this show, but I kind of want to keep my powder dry a bit.
Right.
When it comes to Freddie Flintoff.
All right. So number 7 then. Where are we going here?
Yeah, well, 7 has to be, and Gilchrist destroyed this role for the entire sporting world. Wicket-keeping all-rounder. You know, you've got Kumar Sangakkara. You've got some of the greats. I won't go through all the names. You all know those names. But for me, there was a couple of very interesting candidates in this role. And we're probably going to see one again this summer in Matty Pryor. Right, so we're going to see. Sorry, not Matt Pryor. We're going to see not Matt Pryor. Matt Pryor.
I thought you were naming.
I thought you were naming
Josh
Matt Pryor.
Buttler and Matt Pryor. You know, are in the similar sort of category. They averaged 19 and 28 respectively against Australia, and so they don't make my grade as a 7. Be interested to see how the young fella goes this summer. He had a very good summer against India. But my number 7 is Alec Stewart.
AJ. Well, I'm pleased that you've put him in only because he is as good a bloke as you'll ever meet, Alec Stewart. So regardless of how good a cricketer he was, he's just an insanely good fella, AJ. And I agree. Had a bloody good record against Australia at a time when not many Poms did.
Yeah, and look, he was a really versatile player. Like, I've got him at 7, but he the majority of his Test career is actually an opener. Yep. You know, and then he slotted in at number 3. He was a very good player of spin. I can remember a wonderful innings that he played. I wasn't playing, Blue. Were you playing? I think it was against Australia at the SCG. Warnie wasn't playing, so it must have been, what was that, 99, was it?
Who was that? McGill.
He was smacking McGill, but he was a great puller and cutter. As a lot of wicketkeepers, they tend to be, you know, both of those things covered off nicely. He was in your school of thought, Bluey. Didn't move his feet a lot, but I tell you, he used to slap that ball through point like no other tomorrow. And then you get short to him, and he had some of the greats, you know, bowling to him through that time as well. He used to just rock back and so courageously pull the ball. That was his finest knock against Australia for sure. As you said, a great record. He averaged 44 as an opener, interestingly. And at 7, he averaged 62. So my 5 and my 6 both average over 60, respectively, in their position. Blue, hand it over to you.
Well, my keeper, and you're right. You sort of delve into the stats, and but for mine, impact, and I agree with JB. Just for a bloody good bloke, he had a beautiful tan, and I loved his accent. Is also Alec Stewart.
Yes,
he is my man.
This is a rubbish segment.
As much as I'd love it to be someone different, it is Alec Stewart, who ended up playing 33 Ashes Test matches.
Yep.
33, averaged over 30, so nearly 2,000 runs. And in Australia, his record was better as well. I actually thought the way that he played the game, Australia actually suited him. The pace and bounce. The way that he attacked, as you said, with the pull and cut shots. And he was a good gloveman as well. Very, very good gloveman, probably a little bit underrated. I played against Jack Russell as well, Haydos, who was a different sort of cat, an unbelievable keeper. Loved keeping up to the stumps, to the medium paces. Very eccentric sort of guy. But unfortunately, JB, I'm going to have to agree with Haydos. Alex Stewart is my number 7.
He played, and this might be one of the reasons he was so good in Australia. He played for years for Midland Guildford in club cricket in Perth. And at full strength, they had him and Big Moods and BJ and Big Joey Fangle. So you wandered out to bloody Lilac Hill, Bluey, and you walked into that in a club game. And he just made runs for fun. He used to churn them out over there.
He used to annoy me a bit, collar up, sort of, twinkle toes.
And the other thing, that the bat twirl Haydos in between deliveries, come on, Stewie.
Camping back at gully, just biting your teeth, just trying to have a chop.
Boys, I can hold the two of you back no longer, because these teams are the best England 11 of your time. Oh, there's been some discussions. So there's been ferocious discussions. So we've got through the top 7, and we're now picking the bowlers. And where are we starting? I think you started first last time, Doss. So, Bluey, who's number 8 for you?
Yeah, and we've also got to point out, because I've been copying all sorts online, but it's our time
Your
as
time,
well.
exactly.
So it's from 93 onwards.
Yeah.
All right.
So Ken Barrington and people like that who average
We also have run a poll,
we're not
Bluey.
putting in there.
All over Bar the Cricket on Instagram has run a poll. I don't know if you noticed that. And you're getting...
What's happening with the poll?
Oh, you're getting hammered.
I am?
You are.
Oh.
Yeah. We'll give you the number in post. We'll give you the numbers in post.
We'll get the team selected.
Okay. So my number, what are we up to? Number 7, aren't we? Or 8? 8. Okay. My 8.
What a rookie.
Now, I've got a little bit of a warning here. I've got a very long tail. So once you get through...
Oh, my goodness.
Once you get through 6, you could go through my tail. But batting at number 8, I'm starting my bowling lineup pretty much. And that is Stuart Broad. So Stuart Broad would bat at number 8 in my team. Fine bowler, 40 Ashes test matches, 153 wickets at 28.9, 8 fifers, 1 10-fer. In Australia, not as effective, Big Haydos. 15 test matches, 47 wickets at 34. But Stuart Broad is in my team.
Hard to argue. All right, Big Doss.
I've gone for Freddie Flintoff. Remember, Blue, you had him last week, didn't you?
Yeah, he's my all-rounder, yes.
Yeah, so I've got a side full of batsmen, all-rounding batsmen. So I'm batting as deep as I possibly can. I'm going to make it so hard for Australia to bowl my team out that it's just impossible for them to win a test match. That's how deep my batting lineup is.
All right, so he's one of your starting fast bowlers. What are his numbers?
Yeah, our numbers are fantastic.
No, they're not.
Look, it's a bit of a hot debate, right, between Beefy, who I did get at the back end of my career as well, but it's 2000, so obviously that's not going to count. But his numbers are pretty similar in many ways. We've got 79 matches, 15 against Australia. He's got 100. He's got 650s, averaging 33 with a strike rate of 67. So almost 70 with the bat. So he's a real rear guard action at number 8.
You're picking him as a bowler, so let's get his bowling numbers.
I'm picking him as a bowler. And the reason, I'll give you the numbers first. So he's got 2 fifers against us, averaging 33 with the ball. Best figures at the Oval, 5 for 78. And at Lord's, 5 for 92. When you think of impact players, Ashes impact players, you think of the all-rounders, Stokes, you think of Beefy, and you think of Freddie Flintoff. Now, just from a personal point of view, I prided my batting on the fact that I didn't get bowled a lot. LB, I was kind of happy to kind of go with. Blue, I don't know what your numbers percentage-wise of dismissals are.
Opposite.
Bowled versus LBW. But mine are sort of in that 12% zone to 15% zone of mode of dismissals. And, of course, we're going to get caught because it's the modern game and we were starting to go aerial more so than on the ground. But Freddie, as a bowler for me, not as a new ball bowler, so I've got a couple of very special new ball bowlers coming up in my team, but as an impact bowler, when it got tough beyond the old ball, beyond the new ball and into those middle phases where we as batsmen look to dominate, there was no one that challenged me in my era more than Freddie Flintoff with reverse swing, and he would clip my stumps and get me LBW the majority of the time. I rarely got caught from Freddie, somewhere slashing through the gully or wherever. So challenging my stumps, bowling rapid. I don't think I've faced a better spell of bowling than when he came back with the old ball in Old Trafford in 2005, a great test match. And he just was amazing. His pace was incredible. His impact through the reverse swing was really challenging. And look, he was just a world-class bowler, in my opinion.
So, JB, they sound like all-rounder sort of type figures to me.
That's a scared selection for me. But Freddie should have been in the top 7. That's how good he is. No one's arguing the quality.
Yep.
But putting him in as a number 8 means you're trying to shore up your batting.
No, I'm not saying that.
Bowlers.
No, I'm picking him as a genuine third seamer.
Okay, so my boy averages 28 and Haydos's boy averages 33. So, yeah, let's move on.
Look at the dots.
We'll move on. Mate, no, we'll move on. I'm happy to move on.
Are just not moving.
Plus we're not really interested in what you Muppets have got to say. We'll put it out there to the social.
It's just starting to swing around.
It is.
I like it.
Yep.
Not when you get into my lineup, buddy. I'm telling you, they'll be knocking you over for fun.
Right. Who else?
That is guaranteed.
Who else? Number 9.
Okay, my number 9 is someone that I played a little bit against, and I'm sure you did as well, Dos, and he was basically the spiritual leader of the England attack for a long, long time. Bowled good reverse swing, had good skill with the new ball as well. Could actually swing the ball both ways if he wanted to, but generally away from the right-handers, back into you, Haydos, but an out-and-out trier, and that is Darren Gough, who was my next-door neighbour when I played for Yorkshire, Goughy. Okay. So we spent a lot of car trips together. 17 Ashes test matches, 74 wickets at 30, 4 fifers, and probably more importantly as well for me, in Australia, 8 test matches, 41 wickets at 27.
That's good going. I know.
Yeah, he was a great bowler. There's no doubt about it. Short in stature, which I felt in Australia kind of limited him a bit because he just didn't get that bounce. And so if he didn't take early wickets or it wasn't swinging with the kookaburra, that trajectory tended to go straight into your bat and at decent pace. And at decent pace
straight
as well.
Into the middle of my bat.
I didn't say middle of my bat. I said straight into your bat. But if you want to add middle, yes. No, he was a fine bowler, great character as well. I mean, we at the outset did say to our listeners and viewers that we wanted to pick a great entertaining side. We wanted to pick a side that you'd want to pay money for. Yep. And so my number 9, who was a handy bat, nothing about batting, you average 20, is a spinner. Because I'll be really interested to see what your spinner, whether you haven't got a spinner, and it sounds to me, have you? Sounds like to me you were going in with, an all-pace attack.
No.
Okay, so I've got Graham Swann as our spinner. Admirable mentions to Ashley Giles. I was looking at the Welsh Rock. I was looking at, but very briefly, because these numbers aren't compelling.
He's just applying some drive-bys to a few as he's
and Tuffers. We're talking about entertainment. Tuffers, purely because he's got 15 ducks against us in Ashes cricket. He came under some scrutiny. I'd love to see his polls get blown over once again. But in Australia, Tuffers, he played 9 tests, got 20 wickets at 56. Graham Swann, numbers, 60 tests, 255 wickets overall at 29.97, strike rate of 60. Less than 3 runs and over. Against Australia, he played quite a lot of cricket. Famously, the walkout series that because of his shoulder, and I'm sure we'll hear from Graham at some point. But he took 62 wickets against us at 39. His strike rate was a little high, it was 75.
39.98, by the way. So just might as well be 40.
Yeah, righto. Well, to me, you need a spinner in Test cricket.
Righto.
I'm not going to
Yeah.
argue the numbers. Numbers are the numbers, but he was the best. And look, a bit like you, I played a lot with Graham, lot with him, never against him. Northants, got the opportunity in '98 to be captain of that team, and I had both him and a young Monty Panesar, both in the same side, so the righty and the orthodox left armour. And look, they were both magnificent. Graham was superb in my second year to captain because he'd lost that will to take a wicket every ball because he was a very aggressive off spinner, something that we haven't seen a lot come out of England. And he then learnt to kind of get into a position where he's flighting the ball, trying to hit the top of off stump, he had great control and he could spin the ball as well, which is obviously key for an off spinner. So yeah, and like I said, very handy gripper as well. Good all-round package.
All right, Bluey.
Well, and I'll just add to that, in Australia, he averaged 52.5. So Haydos just magically left that stat out. But I'll move on to my number 10.
Right.
Now, this man will actually feature in this Ashes series with a bit of luck. Fitness, I think he's just starting to come back into first-class cricket. And I'm throwing Mark Wood in there. All right? So I never obviously played against Mark. Why are you shaking your head, Big Doss? Listen to these stats. 11 Ashes test matches, 41 wickets at 27.
Oh, that's good going.
And with 2 fifers, and in Australia, he's so far played four test matches in Australia and averages 26. So for pure impact and bowling at 150 Ks, reverse swing, can shape the ball away, Mark Wood is my number 10. So I've got Stewart, Broad, Goff, Wood, Flintoff as my 4 quick bowlers.
Right. Doss?
Right. So you're yet to name your spinner. He's going to be your donkey.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's make this a quicker part because we've got my number 10 is going to be Stuart Broad.
Yep.
I feel that Broadie, and I guess my next pick is going to be really obvious, right? But when you think back to combinations of players, without spoiling the broth, but combination of players, he is England's the world's 4th highest wicket taker of all time. He's got 604 wickets. When I think back to the greats of the game, you think of combinations, for example, when you get disintegration of players. Now, Stuart Broad at the top of his game met who you consider Australia to be the top opener of the day, maybe in the world even, and that was Davey Warner, and he just completely annihilated Davey Warner every time that he actually came up against him. And, that was
In
a McGrath,
England?
for example, and an Atherton.
Are you putting England in there? He didn't have the same success in Australia against Davey, did he?
Well, maybe not so much, but I mean, you guys seem to be putting a truckload of weight on just purely Australia as well, and I get it. But, Broad got him 7 out of 10 innings. When you look back at that 19 Ashes series, he made Davey Warner look like a second-grade cricketer. Simple as that. He averaged 30 against England in that series, and he was absolutely the bogeyman without any question whatsoever. He embarrassed Australia in many ways, many times during his long and illustrious career, and I can't wait to hear what he's got to say, through this summer, and certainly whether he's got his tail up as well when he comes to this venue, because he was a real protagonist in this country too, wasn't he? Every opportunity he got to wind the Australian crowd up, he'd do so, and that means that the Australian crowd actually really respected him as well. We'll probably never forget his 8 for 15 at Trent Bridge in the 2015 Ashes, where he bowled Australia out for 60 in just 20 overs. So there's a lot of, he mounts a compelling case as not only England's greatest of all time bowler, but also, certainly in my team, he's our number 1 pick bowler.
Hard to argue for any sort of case against Stuart Broad. He was an absolute superstar, no doubt about that. There's still a name I haven't heard, by the way, which I'm interested in as we get to number 11, Bluey.
Yeah, my number 11 is my spin bowler, Doss.
Yeah.
Now, I've gone past Graham Swann because I used to think he was
You've
a
gone past
handy,
a few other names as well, just quietly, but yeah.
handy spin bowler. But, his Ashes test matches aren't as compelling as my man. And he's batting at number 11 for a good reason. And that is because his name is Philip Tufnell. Because I've got Tuffers in there. Now,
15 ducks, yes.
yeah, so he's
So we only have to
number-
really take, we don't have to take 10 wickets. That's it. Bang.
used to get used to get Mark Waugh out for fun.
That's because he was trying to smash him out of the SCG.
Well, that's right. Anyway, I'll just give you his stats, which you got horribly wrong as far as I'm concerned, because they're completely different to the ones I've seen. So,
Right.
Tuffer's played 12 Ashes test matches, both in England and Australia. 36 wickets at 38. So he's better than Graham Swann's average of 40. And in Australia, he averaged 41 with the ball compared to Graham Swann's 52. So the big cat, who's a character as well, he's in my side.
Right.
Yep.
Interesting.
Well, that is interesting.
All right. So you've got, I still haven't heard a
Yeah.
name that is extraordinary in its absence.
No,
but,
I'm going to give it to you.
Come on.
I'm going to give it to you. Well, it's Jimmy Anderson. I mean,
Oh,
why you look? The jury was out early doors, and I was quoted back in the time. I think it was 2012 after I'd finished playing of calling him a B grade bowler, right? which is just ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Now the reason why, and as they say in life, first impressions count. Okay, so first impressions for Jimmy was when we played them in the 2006-7 Ashes. First test, which we've all said on this show before, should always be in Brisbane for good reason. And this was a case of it being good reason, because that was a test match, if you remember, that Ricky got 196 and 60, and we won by about 600 million. But Jimmy was just shy of his sidecar.
Oh.
Now, to explain to our viewers what a sidecar is, I think it came from Merv, gents. Have you got a story on what it means to get a sidecar? But sidecar, as I understand it, is when you get 150, and really it's like if you go any more than that, you're not getting picked for the next test. So he got 1 for 141 in that game before it went to that legendary Ashes test match where Collie got 200 in Adelaide. And Huss, we got us home with a wet sail.
Yep.
A huge test match. We won't go into that right now. But he also took 1 for there as well for $1 million as well. I think it might have been over 100. And I just thought, this bloke, fair income, is a sweatband swinger. He walked around like he had a lollipop up his backside as well, because he was pretty good, decent on the lip as well. Good looking rooster like you, Blue. In fact, a lot like you, Blue. Full stop.
Yeah. Which bit?
Just, walking around like, oh, yes, I'm the best ever. Great, good looking rooster. No, he walked around like he owned the joint, and clearly he knew that he was going to fake it till he make it, because he did turn out to be one of the greats of all time, the greatest English fast bowler of all time, 704 wickets. I don't know if we need to go too much into the numbers, but certainly
we do.
Major contributions in Test cricket and longevity in the game. And I just feel like he is extraordinary.
He's not going to say it, James, but he played 39 Ashes tests, 117 at 36. Average 36.
35.97.
Well, I feel.
So you're not picking him, Blue?
I feel
nowhere near. No, I think brilliant bowler, but not in Ashes cricket. No,
his impact in England gets him a spot for me. I know he had a very poor record in Australia, but his impact in Ashes series in England, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he and Broad, Bluey, in a couple of those England series were just a
5
nightmare.
for 80 in Edgbaston, Jimmy.
That almost gets him a spot for me, just how incredible he was in his own conditions. Anyway,
Adelaide 4 for
interesting.
50.
So we're going to have they're going to come for both of you now. They've been coming just for Bluey. Now there's going to be real.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure
input
they're going to be
from
coming
our
for me.
massive audience.
I just named two of English greatest wicket takers of all time, and I've named England's greatest spin bowler on numbers as well.
Oh,
Freddie Flintoff and, Ben Stokes. Oh, sorry if they can't be the 3 and 4 seamer, and also probably get you 100 under pressure as well. Hey, I reckon you're losing by a country mile.
I've got the phone here, Bluey. I'm just waiting for the Lord, who works with us all summer, Ian Botham, to contact me and say, I don't care what era you're talking about, I'm in.
I'm in.
I'm
Yeah,
in
exactly.
any England side that ever
that's
gets
a
picked,
totally.
no
He'd
matter
have
when.
no argument with us. Look, we should go into our top 5 or top 6 players of all time. In time, we must do that through
We'll
the summer.
do that another time because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, all right. So
And he's in.
that is interesting. Feedback will be coming hard, and I think we
Yes.
might have a guest attached to this team. Well, one of them anyway, and that might be a bit awkward when he comes on. Just realises he's only in one of the two teams. Big Dos.
Yeah.
How's that going to
Yeah,
go?
he's been shafted by one
Bring it on.
one of us. Talk about awkward handshakes. Is there such a thing as awkward eye contact?
I know.
I'm not sure how that's going to roll.
Oh, I love it.